Hi guys, welcome back again. Welcome back. I pray that this will be the last segment. Oh my God, I know how frustrating it can be, right? To be watching a live feed and fall like this, which is why I do the playlist so you guys can watch it continuously. For those of you who don't have the patience, right, to watch with me live, okay, at the feed falls. I really appreciate you. Those of you who hang around and are with me still on this feed, thank you so much for your patience. I was talking about Jody and Ferron before the feed fell. Okay, you heard the clip. I played the clip for you that the pathologist discussed with Dion Jackson Miller yesterday. You heard the passion in his voice, right? You heard the emotion. He was so angry. He was so emotional about it because, and it wouldn't be. I mean, I cried. I cried tears, guys, because it's just an heart-rending story. Because when I think about what this girl went through, 23 years of age, and the last 48 hours of her life, the agony that she went through. I mean, not even your worst enemy would you want that to happen to, right? Not even your worst enemy. Okay. You heard what happened. Basically, uh, I don't want to go back over everything, but I just want to raise some points in based on what the doctor said, guys, and based on the story that we've been hearing, right? And I want to listen. First of all, I want to read something basically that was said yesterday. There was a registered nurse from New Jersey, United States of America, who was on all angles on TVJ, and this is what she said on that program. She said expectant mothers who come into her medical center, the medical staff, she said they are allowed to leave. Measures are put in place to admit expectant mothers before determining their COVID-19 status. These measures include putting the patient in a negative pressure room so that the air is not circulated elsewhere, because the chances are if she has COVID-19, right, they put her in a negative pressure room so the air is not circulated elsewhere, and questioning and requiring persons to wear their masks, right? That's not going to go into the details, guys, into what these protocols are, right? We want to know what these protocols are, don't we? Right? But we can presume from based on what we have heard that this protocol would be like, donning your PPE, your personal protective equipment, right? And putting on, your gloves and your mask and your goggles maybe, right? And your apron and things like that. Okay, before attending to a patient, right? Some excitement about her dying took place on Sunday. That's what we thought. But here we are being told by the pathologist that she died from Friday. What was happening? Were they behind the scenes now trying to put their stories together, trying to decide, who was going to take the fall? Because in cases like this, right, there's always a fall guy, right? So you're determined now who is going to take the fall. Is that what was happening while we heard nothing? Trying to get your story straight, trying to get your facts straight. Is that what this was happening while we heard nothing from this girl dying from Friday until Sunday? That's another thing that I'm going to get into, guys, at another time, right? But the point is this now. Here it is that this young lady has a hard problem. She's not supposed to be moved. She goes to Andrews, and we're putting the pieces together because since they're not telling us the truth, we have to put our own, put our own take on it. We basically have to figure it out for ourselves, so to speak, right? Put our brainwave on it and try to figure it out for ourselves because they're not telling us the truth and telling us what happened, right? We're getting pieces here and pieces there, and everybody's passing the buck. Now, when you listen to this, you realize while people are blaming Andrews to some extent. Andrews might be at fault, but if you listen to all the different stories, right, that you're hearing and putting two and two together, you realize Andrews is not 100% at fault here, right, guys? You realize that, okay? And you heard the minister also said that he has absolving the Victoria Jubilee Hospital and Pension Hospital of any wrongdoing in terms of transfer because, as far as he's concerned, they follow protocols. You heard that, right? And but you heard the pathologist said just now that the the Victoria Jubilee Hospital is very specially designed. He said very specially designed to deal with patients that observed from my observation and my surmisation, listening to everybody speak and reading all the different reports. my surmise is that the best place for her to have been taken to would have been the Victoria Jubilee Hospital. That's where she was supposed to have been taken to, not all the way to Spanish Town in an ambulance, guy. And I think I mentioned it in my previous episode, right? You can imagine the distress this young lady is in, being transferred, right, from Kingston to Spanish Town, St. Catherine, from one parish, guys, to another parish, guys, on Jamaican roads with potholes, guys. I want to paint a picture because I want you guys to understand what's happening here, okay? Remember, all right, that this girl is a young girl. She's pregnant. She had a heart problem. You heard this? The doctor said her heart rate, guys, was 136 beats per minute. Let me put that in context for you. I don't know how many of you who are not medically inclined would understand and know that your heart rate is usually between 60 and 100 beats per minute. That is your norm, between 60 and 100 beats per minute. You want to have it lower, not higher, in case you don't realize. It must not be over 100, right? 100 is too much. As a matter of fact, when my heartbeat is 100, it's after I have gone for a run, or something happens that caused my heart to race, as they would say, when it goes up there to 100. Your heartbeat not supposed to be that high. Her heartbeat, guys, was 136 beats per minute. You heard the doctor say, yeah? You also heard he said that when the baby, because when baby coming in, guys, all mothers will tell you, it doesn't matter where you are, wanted to do a C-section, as you heard, but he couldn't do a C-section, right? And so, because of, of all the incidents that was happening, you saw what was happening. So there was a time frame. That wasn't his plan, His plan was C-section. They were personal doctor, so don't blame the doctor. His plan was to do a C-section. However, with all that was happening and the back and forth and the time passing, the time of C-section passed. You could no longer do a C-section. The baby had reached too far down the passage, right? So now the baby was coming. Whether they like it or not, the baby was coming. And so she, being in distress, guys, she's not able to push. She can't help the situation because, she's in distress. She's dying here, guys. She's dying here. And so the baby is coming, and what they had to do was assist the baby to come out of her vaginal passage, guys. And so you heard she was, quote unquote, vacuumed out. That means oh God, I don't even want to go back over that. Stress. And apparently, based on how they delivered the baby, guys, right? This child might end up having mental issues, right? He said mental retardation, right? So that means chances are, right, the head was clamped or something, right, was pressing on the head or whatever to help to bring the baby out. A lot more about, but every way you look at it, this was not a pretty situation, guys. This was a distressing situation. This girl, in the last 48 hours of her life, suffered. She suffered, guys. The girl suffered. Why did she have to suffer like this? And you even heard the doctor said that they tried to bag her. This was happening at Andrews Memorial Hospital. So Andrews apparently was trying to help her but they were not equipped clearly to do that, guys. And that's what was happening here. That's why I said I don't give Andrews right. I mean, you also from the docket and basically what he saw at the autopsy, right? And you heard him say that in the docket, which he could not actually copy the document, the document, right? The docket. However, he was, and those dockets, I promise you, are going to be subpoenaed. So anyways, he said based on what he saw in the docket, doctors refused. They refused. And I'm presuming it's probably talking about the anesthesiologist, because we did hear that they were summoned and they did not come. The anesthesiologist did not come, right? And so you heard all of these things, and all of these things are documented. Guys, this is a story. We want to hear a lot more going forward. And we are going to hear a lot more about this going forward because, guys, I mean, when I heard this, no, I mean, this last part here, I was very upset initially, but this last part here broke my heart. You understand me? As a woman, as a mother, it broke my heart, what this young lady went through in the last 48 hours of her life. And I'm telling you, you're not hearing the end of this because this is such a big story, guys. You're going to be hearing so much more about it because I know that mother, because as I understand it, the mother is in the States. She's not in Jamaica. And I can only imagine, you understand, the agony that she is going through right now and the anger that she is feeling right now. And I'm telling you guys, as the saying goes, heads are going to roll. And believe me when I tell you, heads are going to roll over this case. You haven't heard the end of it. I will be giving you the updates as they come. I'm sorry you had to hear that graphic interview between the doctor and DJM, but it is what it is. You had to hear sometimes the truth, guys, is unpalatable, right? Sometimes it's hard to swallow. It's like a bitter pill, right? But we have to take our medicine, right? And I'm telling you, these persons involved in this, no way, no way, no way, no way. This is not. This is such a bad story, guys. It just messes up everything. It does, it makes your skin crawl. It just makes you feel so unclean. It just makes you feel so, uh, it's the words are just not even there to describe how you feel after hearing a story like this. To consider and to believe that the people who swore, they made an oath, right? And they swore that they would preserve life, they would save life. Some of them even have godlike complexes because when they save life, they feel that they're gods. These people. And considering all of that, you allow a young man, and you heard the doctor say that apparently we were saying she had money because she went to Andrew Memorial Hospital, but you heard the doctor, according to what they're saying, she doesn't have any money. So that is another another issue in and of itself right there. Okay, so one could even argue that because it's a lack of money, she has no money, hence the reason looking at her. Time is a revealer. Time, yeah, is a revealer of truth. So we will hear the full story as time passes. Okay, ongoing story, guys. And as I get it, I will give it to you. You can depend on me for that. Yeah. Okay. So continuing the news. So a 28-year-old Jamaican Defense Force soldier has been charged with the indecent assault and abduction of a woman he allegedly processed at a state of emergency checkpoint at the border of St. James and Trelawney. So let me give you the full story on that one as I understand it. Right. So the soldier was charged yesterday by the Montego Bay Police following an interview and identification parade. He was granted bail in the sum of $500,000 and is booked to appear in the St. James Parish Court on July 8th on January 14th, 2020. Right? It is alleged that after checking the woman's car documents, the soldier went into her vehicle and instructed the woman to drive to a secluded area nearby. The soldier reportedly assaulted the woman in the secluded area. The woman later reported the matter to the police. The soldier is being represented by Queen's Counsel Peter Champagny. And now, I know they said the detectives have investigated the case, guys, and I know they said that he was charged. But I still have questions about that. It just does not make sense to me. This case really doesn't make sense to me. First of all, and I've driven through security checkpoints, so I know exactly where this happened in terms of pass Greenwood, right, going to Falmouth, going to Trelawney, right. So the question is though, because when you pass through that checkpoint, guys, it's not one soldier there; it's a team of soldiers or under the what do you want to call that section where they are, right, like a little office, right, that the soldiers are usually there. So it's not one soldier there, it's a team. They work in teams, they don't work singularly. So this particular incident is a puzzling incident to me, wherein, again, I think there, and this is why I don't necessarily like to read and watch news to some extent, because you're not getting all the information. You're always getting like information, and that's another reason I do what I do, guys, because people are not stupid. And when you give people stories, you have to give them the full story, because clearly something is missing out of this picture, right? Clearly, because they don't work singularly; they work in team. So how is it that this soldier who is checking at the checkpoint, this woman is able to check her documents, or he stopped her to check documents, right? And then after checking her documents, then he advised her to drive the car to some secluded place where he was able to assault her. So when he was leaving, his team members is missing out of this picture, just in, as it stands, as this, without a context. This story needs a context, right, guys? It needs a context. Let's say we can't take it out of context. We need a context for the story. What happened? Because right here and now, we're saying, okay, my grandmother always said, the upholder is as bad as the rogue. And I'm saying there must be another soldier, at least one other soldier who knew what was happening, or who saw what was happening, who knows something about what was happening. And we haven't heard anything about that. This on its own merit, guys, it does not make sense. It does not add up. You will agree, right? If you agree, give me a comment on it and let me know, and give me a thumbs up also if you agree with me that there's more to the story than what they're saying to us, because there's no way the soldier could just leave the checkpoint like that and go and assault a woman, and his teammates not know about it, right? Something. As I hear, guys, you will have that information. As soon as I hear, you will know. Continuing. So, the Manchester Parish Court has ruled in favor of the state in the case of a man who disobeyed police instructions to return home after he was found in a public place outside the house of the nightly COVID curfew. So, this must be the first conviction under the DRMA. You think? Because I've not heard of any other conviction yet, right? This seems to be the first. Anyway, the police are reporting that Ainsley Young was fined $100,000 or 3 months imprisonment for breaching the curfew order. He was also fined a total of $15,000 for various traffic breaches. Sorry. So, that again is another question sign. My question on that one, guys, is that first of all, we were told that if you breach the curfew, right, you will be charged $1 million, right? Well, they did say up to $1 million. To be honest, to give the devil his due, they said up to $1 million. But the question is though, up to $1 million, he was only charged $100,000. We would like to know what are the criteria, in terms of how much they charge, whether it's 100,000 or $1 million. What are the criteria? Because we went up to $1 million and we automatically latch onto the $1 million without really actually looking at the up to, which is actually true. Up to means that it could be $100,000, right? But what's the criteria? So, anyways, so let me give some more details. The police said the charges were laid against Young following an incident at about 10 p.m. on Thursday, April 9th. It's the same day when we opened the application for the CARE program, right? So on that day, he was observed driving along the Richmond Main Road in Georges Valley, Manchester, in a Honda motor car. He was reportedly stopped and instructed to return home. However, he refused to return and sped off. Now, police stop you and you decided to drive. You watch too many movies, don't you think? You watch one too many movies. Right? Yeah. This is not the Fast and the Furious, right? So where you running off to? So he sped off, guys, and a chase took place. That the document for the motor vehicle expired in 2013. You heard that, guys? So this is why the guy sped off. Hear why he sped off. When they checked, the document for the motor vehicle expired 2013, 7 years ago. Right? He's driving the vehicle with document that expired 7 years ago in 2013. So, of course, he was additionally charged with an unlicensed motor vehicle, disobeying, no insurance coverage, of course, because 13 years ago is our license, and fraudulent use of the licensed disc. So apparently he had a license that apparently said that he was registered and all, but of course it was not true. So that's why he sped off, guys. And but my question though is, I really want to know though, what is the criteria? Because I mean, this looks like a big charge. Told up to $1 million would have been the charge, but he was only charged 100,000 plus 15,000. That seems like minimal, right? And so, what's the criteria for actually, coming up with the amount of money you're going to charge a person? We would love to know. Wouldn't you like to know? Yeah, definitely. All right, so continuing. Oh, I got to read this for you guys. I got to read this one for you. So, Emma has a blog. Emma Lewis has a blog called that she called it Petchery, and it's a very interesting blog. I actually recommend reading her blog Petchery, because she really she comments just like myself, but instead of doing it on YouTube, she's doing it on her blog. Right, and she always gets some very interesting stories, and she seems to be on top of it in terms of knowing exactly what is happening right here and now. Okay, so she wrote a blog that I found very interesting, that I think you would like to hear. She says, okay, that the Oxford University Standard study ranks Jamaica among countries least prepared to lift the COVID-19 lockdown globally. Yeah, we are in the list of countries that are least, L-E-S-T, least prepared. We're least prepared to lift the lockdown, right? The world has reached a critical point. Economies are being squeezed by various lockdowns and restrictions due to COVID-19. States in our powerful neighbor to the north, USA, right, while eager to ease up, are recording soaring numbers of cases, right, and thousands of deaths. Jamaica is facing a similar scenario on a much smaller scale. The World Health Organization, WHO, recently issued a series of 6 recommendations for governments to consider when deciding whether to open up their economies or not, right? This is their interim guidance dated April 16th, and she lists the thing. You can't see it, so it doesn't make sense me going into that, right? COVID-19 transmission is controlled to a level of sporadic cases and clusters of cases, all from known contacts or importations. At a minimum, new cases will be reduced to a level that the health system local transmission or are minimized, which requires all major driver amplifiers of COVID-19 transmission to have been identified with appropriate measures in place to maximize physical distancing and to minimize the risk of new outbreaks. Now, in order for us to reopen, we also must have preventative measures established in workplaces. We must manage the risk of exporting and importing cases from communities with high risk of transmission. Communities must be fully engaged and under transition away from large-scale movement restrictions, and public health and social measures is a new normal for us. New normal, guys, operative word, new normal, in which prevention measures would be maintained, and that all people have key roles in preventing the resurgence in case numbers. Okay, now, it is looking at what the Oxford study has shown, that Jamaica is nowhere near meeting most of the conditions that have been established. Nor did it lock down the economy, as the Prime Minister himself averred in Parliament yesterday. Despite the best efforts and carefully laid plans of the hard-working team at the Ministry of Health and Wellness, it is no surprise that Jamaica is ranked low in the Oxford University study. The Blavatnik School of Government at Oxford University was founded in 2010, and its mission is to inspire and support better government and public policy around the world. According to the university's lockdown rollback checklist, Jamaica is just above Libya, Venezuela, and Puerto Rico, and below Scandinavian countries that are not practicing social distancing, as well as developing countries such as Angola, Brazil, Nicaragua, and Bolivia. We are in the left ready to exit lockdown category. Note though that not every country is checked every day, so some data for specific countries may be a little out of date. Okay, I'm not going to go much further with that, except to I'm still live on. I'm still live. I'm still live. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah. I can tell who's not watching me from who's watching me, because if you were watching me, you would know that I'm still on. And that's why you don't subscribe. I'm going to have to send you the link because you do not subscribe. You got to subscribe so you can see when I'm on. Okay. All right. Okay. Anyways, I'm wrapping up. I'm wrapping up. So I was saying basically, according to the study, we are based on the criteria in terms of reopening. We are nowhere near ready to reopen. Okay, according to this Oxford University study. Yeah. But the story I want to get to before, there's two more stories for the day, guys. One, the Talawas. The Talawas. You know the Talawas, right? The Talawas are Jamaica's national cricket team. The Talawas, Jamaica's national cricket team. So there's apparently this thing going on, this feud going on social media between Chris Gale, right, and some of his former teammates, right, and there's also more feud going on with uh, what's his name again, Andre Russell, right, and so between him also, and so you have issues with the assistant coach and Chris Gale, who is basically the coach is actually a former team member, right, of the West Indies cricket team. You know, Chris Gale from the West Indies cricket team, absolutely. And so they, instead of having a trash talk guy, everybody these days are going on social media. So they decided to go to social media and to hear their dirty laundry on social media. So I have a clip that I want to play for you now that concerning this feud that is going on. So listen to this clip, guys. Listen to this.
Is facing more fallout as the man who was named Wisden's leading T20 cricketer of the year, Andre Russell, says that this season will be his last with the Caribbean Premier League franchise. Speaking on his Instagram account on Tuesday, Russell says he does not feel appreciated by the Talawas. Most definitely, I think we should. I can tell you, this is going to be an awkward dressing room. It's going to be an awkward CPL. But no fans or no one will actually see that when I step out. The batter, the
Andre
ball,
Russell speaking.
and while I'm on the field, I play to win. And that's my motto. Play to win. That's Andre Russell. And Russell detailed his feelings earlier in the post. I'm just clearing the air. I'm on a year contract with Talawas, and I'm going to play and try and win because that's all I play for. But this will be my last because I've been getting mixed up with all these that is happening. And I can't be playing cricket and I'm not comfortable. And I think another franchise that have been coming last and fifth and fourth in CPL will appreciate me more. I'm not getting it here. The former Jamaica Talawas captain Andre Russell has been with the Talawas since the inception of the CPL and won titles in 2013 and 2016. 2017 was the only year where he was absent from the squad as he was observing a one-year ban from the sport for an anti-doping rule violation.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Talawas assistant coach Ramner Sarwan was also a target of a recent attack by former captain of the franchise Chris Gale on his YouTube page. The hard-hitting opener blasted his former Windies teammate for what he called a lack of loyalty. More from Daniel Blake. CEO of the Jamaica Talawas, Jeff Miller, wasn't the only one to bear the brunt of Chris Gale's lengthy rant.
On Instagram.
You're despicable. You're worse than the coronavirus right now. Those were directed at former West Indies teammate and current Talawas assistant coach Ramner Sarwan. The 40-year-old accused the Guyanese of causing division in the team, which led to the poor performances in 2019. So many players was actually traumatized because of Sarwan. The amount of lies this guy tell and and the players. The team management wasn't getting on. Sarwan want to be the manager, you want to be the coach. But Sarwan have the power for the team because he's one of the owners. Put it that way, Sarwan's like an owner for the team.
Really?
Because the owner's not going to be involved in this thing. It's what Sarwan go back and tell the owner. Gail added that Sarwan was causing problems even before his return to the team in 2019. Yeah. The amount of complaint I get when I wasn't there, because the Jamaican guys still have respect for me, so they'll still, share a few things with me. The amount of problem they have with Sarwan, Russell was the captain at the time. The amount of problem Sarwan and the captain have, and keep meeting behind the captain back and all these other things. That's the type of person Sarwan is. Gail's displeasure with Sarwan dates all the way back to 1996 during their under 19 days. We were roommates. We shared the same room. He allowed the management staff to send me home from Barbados. I will never forget that. I forgive, but I never forget that. You tell the management team that you can't sleep. Chris Gayle watching TV too long or too late in the night. That's what I get sent home for. And the hard hitter had a parting shot for Sarwan. Just don't deal with me. Sit straight up. When I see a person, I'll tell you that as well. Very deceitful and disrespectful. We know friends, alright? You see on
Not like that, Chris. Not like that.
Social distancing. Daniel Blake, Radio Jamaica Sports.
Yeah. Oh my God, guys. I mean, seriously, everybody these days are airing their dirty laundry in the public space on social media. Guys, there are some things that are not for social media. Yeah. There's something that you keep under the rug, right? I'm telling you, social media, it is good, but it is not so good sometimes, right? Because people just don't seem to know how to use social media, what to use those social media for, right? And Chris Gayle, I love you as a player, but you need to, as a human being, right, and as a person, right, and a Jamaican, you got to represent. Remember, you're a public, right? I'm not saying it's not because I don't know, but I'm saying even if it is true, there's a right and wrong way to do things, and there's a right forum for certain things, right? And I don't think, personally, it's my opinion. I'm giving my 2 cents, right? I don't think Instagram was the right forum, right, for your ranting and calling the man worse than coronavirus. It is so not nice, right? No, it's not nice at all, Chris. So, yeah, I like you, but no, man, that's not right at all, Chris. You gotta apologize to that guy, man. You gotta apologize to him, Chris. I'm sorry, Chris. You gotta have to humble yourself, honey, and apologize to that guy because that was not nice to say that at all on your Instagram page. You know how social media is like; these things go viral quickly, right? And you didn't get a chance. The guy didn't get a chance to express himself and to counter what you're saying because it's just out there. That easy person, and without having an opportunity to actually, defend himself, you have now slandered him to some extent, right? By saying what you have said on social media like that. Chris, I expect better from you, man. You should know better than that. I mean, where are your PR? These guys don't have PR. These guys will not spend the money. They make so much money and they'll not spend some money on PR, right? You got to spend some money on public relations. You're going to have someone, okay, who will advise you as to what you can and cannot do, in public. Yeah. Oh, okay. So, anyways, guys, the lockdown, they had decided to go to Canada on the farm work program, remember? But they were told to sign a document, basically absolving the government of anything that should happen to them, including contracting the COVID-19 disease, remember? Well, listen to this, guys. 17 Jamaicans are among 47 workers employed to Greenhill Produce in Chatham, Kent, Canada, who have contracted the coronavirus disease and have been placed in isolation. 45 of the positive cases are migrant workers and 2 are members of staff from the community located in rural Ontario. Efforts to contact Justin Gitsima, Vice President and General Manager of Greenhill Produce, were unsuccessful. The family-owned operation is a leading producer of sweet peppers with 86 acres of high-tech greenhouses. The labor pool of nearly 250 workers includes 111 migrants from Guatemala, Jamaica, and Mexico, with 67, guys, 67 of them are Jamaican. 67 of them are Jamaicans. With the emergence of the COVID-19 as a global pandemic, former migrants indemnified the Jamaican government against liability if they contracted the disease. So they signed a waiver saying that, you don't have to worry about us. We will take our chances. We're going to go anyway, and you don't have to worry about it. So guess what, guys? Having done that, guess what? The Jamaican government is not looking in that direction. I'm sorry to say, but that is not a priority for them, unfortunately, because you signed a waiver. Yeah, that's why they had to sign that waiver. Mm-hmm. It's a developing story, guys. So I'll have more on that for you also. Okay. And I should also tell you, yes, that fishermen are now exempted. Yes, in St. Catherine, the curfew in St. Catherine, the 24-hour curfew in St. Catherine. We find that fishermen are now exempted. Remember, I had a story about that also, right? When I said that the fishermen were crying out and said, same like oh, the shopkeepers had to restock. They wanted to be able to go out to sea also. Well, apparently, government have heard their cry, and so the Minister of State in the Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries, the Honorable Floyd Green, has issued a statement saying that the fishermen have been exempted from the St. Catherine curfew orders as outlined under the Disaster Risk Management Act, the DRMA. Right. The minister said it was never the intention of the orders to impede fisher folk. And I'm quoting him. He said, the St. Catherine curfew order has been amended to specifically provide for fishermen to be able to go out to sea. And the next step is to ensure that there is coordination between our hardworking law enforcement officers so that everyone is on the same page. I'm also reminding our farmers that they too are exempted from the St. Catherine curfew order. Our farmers and fishermen are the backbone of our nation as we seek to sustain ourselves and maintain food security during this difficult time. Yeah. So, basically, with over 200 cases, St. Catherine is the epicenter of the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, yeah? All right, so let me end up on some positive notes, guys. Let me close the program with some positive notes. So, of course, with all that bad news, you want to hear some, not really good news, but some, some pleasant things. So, today is April 30th, and happy birthday to all my April 30th born persons out there watching, viewers watching. So, in history, April 30th is very significant in history. So, exactly 9 years after the Louisiana Purchase, the agreement was made between the United States and France back in April 30, 1812. Louisiana was admitted into the Union as the 18th U.S. state. Right? As the 18th U.S. state. Did you also know that on April 30, 1993, that was when the World Wide Web was launched? Did you know that? 4 years after publishing a proposal for an idea of linked information systems, computer scientist Tim Berners-Lee released the source code for the world's first web browser and editor. At first, it was called Mesh, right? But then it was later dubbed World Wide Web. No, we call it the three W's, yeah? Yeah. That was in April 30th. Oh, and here's another one for you. Other things happening April 30th, So, you know, in Queens, you have the New York World's Fair in Queens, right? Well, on April 30, 1939, the New York World's Fair was opened in New York City. The opening ceremony, which featured speeches by the President Franklin D. Roosevelt, right, FDR, and New York Governor at the time Herbert Lehman, ushered in the first day of television broadcasting in New York. That was also the first day of television broadcasting in New York, April 30, 1939. And here's one that I don't really care to share, but I'm going to share it anyway, right? Because it's history. Adolf Hitler. he and his wife committed suicide on April 30th, 1945. You know that World War II ended thereafter, right? And World War II started because of him, right? So on April 30th, 1945, when he realized that he had lost the war, right? And he and his wife were holed up in a bunker under his headquarters in Berlin, and they both drank cyanide. And I think he also shot himself. That was in 1945 on April 30th. Oh, and also South Vietnam surrenders to they surrendered their South Vietnamese stronghold of Saigon. You know Saigon, which is also known as Ho Chi Minh. Falls to the People's Army of Vietnam and Viet Cong on April 30, 1975. Oh, and one more thing. George Washington gives his first presidential inaugural address on April 30th, 1789. George Washington was sworn in as the very first American president, right? And gave his speech at the Federal Hall in New York City. And that's what happened on April 30th. This is a very important day for all you April 30 born. Feel proud of yourself. Yeah. Okay, guys, I know this was not one of my best episodes. I know it's not one of my best episodes with all the interruptions and everything going on, all the technical difficulties I've been having. But you know, guys, it's just what it is, right? Sometimes coffee, sometimes tea, right? We just have to take our lumps. We can in everything we have to give thanks. We have to be grateful. And so, despite all the interruptions, I am still grateful that I still have internet and I'm still able to do this broadcast, guys. One of these days, we're going to look back on all these times, like I said before, so many times, and we're going to just laugh, right? And say, wow, look at those early episodes, right? Yeah, I have no control over that, guys, as you know, because, it's a data plan I'm using, and it's not just the fact that it's data plan, as I understand it, right? When many persons are on the internet at the same time, of course, it will cause, the feed to fall. And I've seen it even with more established, establishment institutions, organizations, businesses, etc., who have had their feed drop as a result of the poor bandwidth. So Flow has instructed me that there's not much that they can do about that because I'm using a mobile hotspot and they don't troubleshoot mobile hotspot. And so basically, whenever I have using a mobile hotspot, and if there is an influx of persons who are actually using the internet at that point in time, then I'm going to see a reduction in my bandwidth. And so that's what happened today. Today we had many interruptions, for which I apologize, even though it's not my fault. Right. Okay, guys. So anyway, I've come to the end of the program today. I really hope that I got something out of it despite everything, right? I hope you learned something from it. And guys, as always, as I instruct you and advise you to subscribe. Because when you subscribe, whenever the feed falls, then you are notified when I'm live again. Okay. Otherwise, you'll have to watch the replay when I make a playlist out of it. Okay. Or see it in snippets. Yeah. Okay. So thank you for those of you who actually stayed with me until the very end. Thank you so much for your support. It is highly appreciated. Okay. It gets better. There are good days and there are bad days, right? But at the end of the day, it is what it is, and we give thanks in everything, as I said before. Remember, guys, to share this broadcast with your contacts because knowledge is nothing if kept to oneself. Knowledge must be shared, it must be applied. Okay. Remember also that I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So you can go and over there and you can go and like and comment and also share the link with your contact. Okay. If it is that you wish to come on the program, remember you can send me a direct message on Facebook. And if you have a topic that you'd like for me to speak on, you can also make that request by direct messaging me on Facebook. Okay, guys. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you. I appreciate every single one of you, all my subscribers. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for subscribing. Okay, thank you for your likes. Thank you for your shares. Okay, I appreciate it. I've been told persons that tell me all the time that they share the link with their friends, so I appreciate you sharing it. Okay, and I thank you for sharing it. And of course, as always, you know, I tell you right that I'm here not because, I just want to be on YouTube. I'm here because God has given me some information, give me knowledge. I don't know everything, as I tell you all the time, but I'm a student of knowledge just like you. I know some things. And so what I know, I share with you. And so what you know, you're supposed to share with others, right? Okay, so until tomorrow, Friday, right, which will be the 1st of May. Oh my God, May is here. May is here, God, May is here. So tomorrow, I will see you, God willing, at 12 noon, right? And so until then, as always, I tell you, stay blessed and be a blessing. Love you. Bye.